That was this biography I was telling you I read. That was published in 1820. So, I mean, it's 600 pages long and it's full of extraordinary adventures. So I just stripped the narrative out of one of those chapters. But then I also found, like, for instance, is an advert in the Newcastle Courant from the 4th of October 1760. Just an advertisement for him as a deserter, which pretty much backs up that chapter, you know, and the trouble with the biography, original biography, which were published just after his death, is that there are no dates in them, and it's hard to verify any information, but that was an advertisement which kind of backs up the story that goes before it and after it. Yeah. So,
I was curious about your process of deciding what to write home about, and that's because your bibliography, you obviously read a lot of stuff. It's sort of much bigger. So I'm just curious, is it that these certain things inspired you, or you maybe actually was more methodical than that?
So why I made the selection of what I did.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, it's true. I had to do a lot of. I was very curious anyway, just because I was just had a focused education. So I had to read pretty wide and just to familiarise myself with the 18th century and crime in the 18th century in particular. And then there's not a great deal written about gypsies, before the gypsies, and there's not much documentation. So I did need to do a lot of reading. And also, when the book, originally I was just going to publish the libretto, which basically is the ballads, about 10 of the ballads that are in the with some narrative between. But as I began to research the story and find the original documents, I thought, you know, they were pretty illustrative of the legend which backed up the story, and I began to weave them in. Forgot the original question.
How did you choose to write?
How did I choose those particular? Okay, so what I had was I had the libretto. I had a whole lot of research material. I didn't use any of the documentary forms in the libretto. It just wasn't the time, and it just wasn't appropriate. So I wanted to use those. So then I could build on the libretto, because that's pretty much just an emotional story, really. I mean, sad when his last game was sour. I kind of fed in the breakdown of my own marriage and the stuff I've been writing into that, you know, just to give him an emotional life. He's a character, even though he's a true historical character, and even though the information you have about him is accurate historically, he's still a work of fiction, in a way. So I felt okay to feed that kind of, my own emotions, if you like, into that. And also there's the landscape, which I was pretty much preoccupied with, very seductive landscape. And I was very much in love with the landscape, and increasingly absorbed by it and writing about it. And because it was also his landscape, I was able to put love poems on it as well. And not just built it, just made it kind of various textures. And also I tried to keep a narrative in mind running through it as well.
Did you write them? Kind of develop a strong bond with J.B. Allen as you've been researching him. I'm kind of wondering, what do you find most mysterious about him? I mean, after developing so much knowledge, what do you still say is a mystery to you about him?
Well, just his ability to survive for so long. I mean, he was born in 1736, he died at the age of 77. He stole a horse at the age of 70, I mean, you've got to admire something like that. I mean, the capital offense. So, the mystery, I suppose I need to do a hell of a lot more research, and I'm continuing to research into it, as I'm able. I don't know, he just appeals to me because he's he was an artist throughout his life. He was obviously clearly a brilliant musician, but kind of disregarded law and order, and he wasn't a violent criminal, but he was a clever, cunning, an opportunistic thief, and it just amazes me that he was prepared to take those risks where every time he stole a horse he could have been hung. I mean, I don't think the same laws as in America too. People get hung for
Cowboys.
Yeah. So, and because there's so little known about people like him, you know, it's an untold story really, and historically. And I felt also able to, I have made other documentary poems, if you like, or made books of oral history, and I've always wanted to find ways of giving voice to people who are otherwise voiceless, if you like. And also just the fact that he's a musician, and his life, because he could travel, you know, he with the aristocracy, and he was also with the gypsies, so it's all outcasts anyway, even the other peasants, and so it's unique to find a character like that in history, I think, who had that kind of information and knowledge and experience across the class range.
Sorry.
Did you write the ballads with a melody in mind?
Well, I don't know. I had this young folk musician friend of mine that I worked with, so sometimes when I was writing, even before I was, some of those songs in there, you know, like Hawthorne, for instance, was written before the ballad. So, yeah, it's a good question. Actually, when I was composing some of the ballads, I did have, you know, Bob Dylan's The Hurricane. You know, this is the story of the hurricane. I think that's a terrific, really great ballad. So sometimes I have a tune like that in there. So yeah, sometimes I begin with a tune, but I don't compose my own tunes. I just try and do it in his voice and so on. Yeah. So.
As far as choosing to write about a historical figure, if you were to come across another historical figure that interests you as much as Jimmy Allen did, would you do the book and then?
Yeah. But I feel there's so much more to learn about him and information to find out. You know, about his associates, about his patrons, for instance. He pretty much preoccupies me for the next year or two. Really preoccupied me for the next year or two. But yeah, of course. Especially as you know, I mean, the attractive thing about him in a way, just from a selfish point, is that there is very little known about him as a person. So it's just kind of virgin territory for me. In the research of time.
Tom, you've known about Jamie Allen for a long time. You discovered him.
Since I was the age of
Yeah,
10.
exactly. So you always wanted to find some way to, something to do with him. And it seems as though finally he became a kind of alter ego to you, or vice versa.
Yeah.
And through all this research, as you say, you were able to strip things out, which I think is amazing, out of all that type of material, which can be pretty dreary sometimes. To strip out these stories and then kind of imbue them with your own experience. And having lived, or living in this area where he had lived, it seems to me that you caught the whole feel of it. And didn't you say that you're going to maybe expand it? Because it's going to be printed in another edition. The first edition's almost out.
They just reprinted it.
They're just going to reprint this.
If there's ever.
Yeah. But you would like to maybe sometime do an expanded edition, or maybe something, a second.
I was thinking, I started thinking I might do another book called Nell Clark.
That's
about
right.